Han Solo issue number 1, Star Wars Han Solo issue number 1 by Marvel. This issue came out in 2016. I'm actually going to review in this video issues number 1 through 3, tell you guys what I think about the story, what I think about the art. I'm actually way happier with these comics than I was with the Force Awakens comic book adaptation. I never went to buy issue number 2 or 3 for the Force Awakens adaptation. I just had issue number 1 because it was pretty terrible. These Han Solo issues I'm really happy with. These really show Han Solo. So unlike the movie Solo, a Star Wars story, this comic series seems to at least kick off for the first 3 issues with a real Han Solo, like the Han Solo that we saw in A New Hope, in Empire Strikes Back, and in Return of the Jedi. This actual story here takes place in between episodes 4 and 5, so we see Han Solo after A New Hope, and what happened to him is he went to go back to smuggling, and instead of, I guess, I kind of thought he was like with the rebellion, like when he came back to fire on the ships near Darth Vader to allow Luke to blow up the Death Star. I thought that in the intervening year or two in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, that Han Solo was kind of all with the rebellion. But these comics show that Han Solo went back to smuggling for a time after A New Hope, and Princess Leia has to get Han Solo back into the fold because she needs his ship, the Millennium Falcon, and I guess because it's like the fastest ship that they can think of. Some of the art here is really nice. I don't know if this is focusing in on this. This is the Millennium Falcon headed toward the Rebellion fleet to have this meeting with Leia. The Millennium Falcon just looks great, like in every single shot that it's in. It's really nice. It's really like it's like a 3D interpretation of the Millennium Falcons. The artist did a really great job. One of the things I wanted to point out about the artists and the writers is, at least, I don't know, it seems a little strange to me, at least from back when I was collecting comics, like back in the 90s. These 3 names here actually relate to, the writer is listed first, the artist is listed second, and then colors is third. That's how you would expect. Now, when issue 2 comes along, the 3 names on there are the writer, the penciler, but then there's an inker who's not listed, and it goes straight to the colorist. So I just thought that was odd for issue 2. I think it happens in issue 3 too, where there's an inker, but the inker's not listed. Like back in the 90s, inker was like of some importance as far as I put it. When I was collecting comics and I was into drawing and I wanted to see the artwork in comic books, I would really be into who inked it, who penciled it, who inked it. So in the first issue, Brooks pencils and inks, and then in the second issue there's an inker, but they're not listed on the cover. Back to the story, what Princess Leia needs the Millennium Falcon for, she wants to take it for a race. It's called the Dragon Void, and it's like the deadliest race in the galaxy. They actually don't want Han to fly his own ship. They don't mention who they were thinking of, I don't think, but they want to get somebody else to fly the ship, but Han's like, no, of course not. Now, like, this is really the Han from the movies that we know of, like, or the movies that we trust, episode 4, 5, and 6. This really isn't the Han from Solo, a Star Wars story. This is the Han who's like the alpha here. He's not going to let anyone take his ship. He agrees to actually do the mission, let the rebellion utilize the ship, but he's got to be flying it. Princess Leia is arguing with the general here, And I guess Han Solo's reputation preceded him, and the general knew something about Han Solo and didn't like him already. But now he's meeting Han Solo in the flesh. He came to meet Princess Leia and the general, and now that Han Solo is agreeing to do this this race, Princess Leia tells the general, "He can do it. I know it. Seems unlikely, but it's true." The general says, "I didn't like it before when you suggested Solo for this mission, and I like it even less now that I've met him. You know what's at stake better than anyone. Solo might be your first choice, but he's far from mine." And then Princess Leia says, "No, but he is what we've got, and we're out of time." And then Solo says, "I'm standing right here." So I just love that. Like, I actually chuckled when I read that because they're arguing, and I got into it like it's a little sitcom here. They're talking about Solo like he's not there, but Han is actually standing right there. So I thought that was pretty funny. I don't want to give this whole issue away. Let me see if there's anything I wanted to talk about toward the end here. There was probably more that I wanted to say about the second issue. So when they finally get to this race, which is a cover for a mission that Han Solo has to do for the rebellion, they have to pick people up at different planets that the race stops at. So the race is very, very dangerous. They get into the race, things start to happen to the ships and to the contestants in the race. So that's how issue 1 gets going. And then issue 2 I thought was kind of funny, at least the way they did the cover, because what they do with the cover here, in comic book art, what there is certain things that you do when you play with time. There might be a scene where there's action, or there's a scene where time is going by, and you show in the same panel or the same cover the different lengths of time that went by, but all in one frame, all in one panel. But this particular shot, I think, takes that idea to kind of a funny level. So this is apparently Greedo, this is somebody that, I guess this is like Greedo that Han shot, or just somebody that that Han shot, like Han shot first type of thing. I just thought this was kind of funny how Han's still here. You know, he didn't leave. He's still chilling after this guy's dead, and this position of this guy almost looks like he's going to get some kind of flogging or some kind of BDSM whipping or something like that. You know, the way that it's kind of shown. I mean, I kind of get the idea of the way a comic is, that he would have probably walked away by now, but this is just the shot that they chose. Kind of 2 panels in one in a sense, but funny nonetheless. We pick up where we left off before. There's actually calamity that starts to happen with the ships when they realize that if their engines are on in this first part of the race, they will be mines, like floating mines that actually are attracted to engines and will seek out all these racers, and each racer starts exploding until they realize what's going on. By the time they realize what's going on, though, there's only 4 racers left. I think that some of the art here is pretty spectacular in this issue by Brooks. Let me see the first name again. Mark Brooks, because when you have to draw Star Wars, you have to sometimes make the connection between the movie likenesses, and I think some of these panels here really begin to look like Han a lot, and certainly the Millennium Falcon. Any of these technological shots, that's when you're drawing Star Wars stuff, it has to be a mix of technological 3D shapes like spaceships, but also likenesses and faces of the movie characters. This is also an example of showing what the character's thinking. So all of these like light blue boxes here are Han Solo thinking, and what he's thinking of as the ship is traveling. Like, look at this panel right here. It is a really, really nice panel of this straight shot through debris of the Millennium Falcon, just missing everything that's floating, and just this expert piloting of Han Solo. Even though it's so fast, look at the speed lines and the actual trail of the ship exhaust, and it just looks great. It just really, really looks cool, and it's the type of thing that it's only a quarter of the page here. It's pretty cool. But these light blue boxes here that are Han thoughts is like what I was complaining about in the previous video, the previous comic review about The Force Awakens, how they actually started that comic with a couple of these boxes, and then they didn't have it for like the second half of the comic. They forgot about it. This is quite nice to see like what Han's thinking. So this issue, they actually get to the first pickup that they have to do, but stormtroopers get in the way here, and it's actually the Empire stops the race. So the Dragon Void race is halted while the remaining contestants get arrested by the Empire. They're kind of passing around this rebellion slip to display to anyone that Princess Leia wants Han to pick up that, like, look, I'm with the rebellion. It's just a funny piece of paper with a stamp on it. But that alerts them that it's time for Princess Leia, because these informants are getting killed. That's the whole purpose of picking them up. There's only 3 left out of I don't know how many, but they've got like a mole in there. Some of this art's pretty cool here. I actually like this creature here, which just looks like a ball of light, but one of the characters explains is a living creature, and Han actually keeps saying, it's quite funny, he keeps saying, get away from me. Get this thing away from me. What is this thing? I guess Han's name drew the stormtroopers here, drew this guy, this Imperial guy here. He wants to shoot like that light ball, but Han stops him because he says that's a living creature, like the other racer told him. So that was interesting that they explored aliens, and they actually had some, lots of aliens as the racers, lots of aliens throughout these comics. Han Solo number 3. This one, look at the image of the Millennium Falcon. Now, somebody else did the cover on each of these than Mark Brooks, the interior artist. Look at the Millennium Falcon here. That's really nice. I guess this art was probably painted in some manner, but this ship here, I just love the way the Millennium Falcon looks sometimes. The race has been halted by the Imperials, and Princess Leia actually can tell because she's watching the broadcast, like the race is being broadcast. Like, she's realizing that things are going like really, really wrong here. I think actually this is the issue where Han is defending these like light orbs. This is like 1,000-year-old alien creature who is friends with these light orbs. This is, I think, where Han defends those. They actually convince the Imperials to restart the race. The race harms no one, only the pilots. Yeah, it's supposed to be the most dangerous race in the galaxy, so if they want these people dead, they say that the best thing to do is to let them continue the race, because like basically anyone that does this race kind of dies. They let them continue, they let them go, but in the process, the first guy that they picked up gets shot, and he's wounded, but he's okay. And he tells Han that basically out of these 3 people that they're going to pick up, him included, so 2 more, that one of these 3 people is the mole that they have to be worried about. And I like here where Han actually, this is where he's telling them, and this gives another example of Han being Han, where he says, well, maybe it's you, maybe this mole, this infiltrator is you. And he says, well, I'm not, you're not going to find that out right now, at least. A piece of the art that I think is really, really Han-like, look at this face right here. This is the face of Han, I think. Right? Doesn't that look like it down there on the bottom panel? That really, really looks like Han, especially from, they must be looking at like Han from Empire Strikes Back. This is a story that takes place right before Empire Strikes Back, so that really looks like Han to me. There's some pretty good likenesses in here. And then another thing that I thought was good in the respect of the Han art, well, actually take another look at the Millennium Falcon art right here. That's another speed shot of the Millennium Falcon. Just looks great. Believe me, it looks even better when you can see the full resolution if you guys get the comic book here. I like the way that this looks, and Kevin, my partner in the comic I'm doing, if he could see this, if he sees this, he would probably really like this spread. Look at that. There's like, this is a way to do, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 panels in a 2-page spread, but doing it in a different way. I mean, it's actually a countdown, so that's why it's kind of like a clock. It's like hour 4, hour 5, hour 6, hour 7, and you know, have this race. It's almost like the Indy 500 race just keeps going. Another example of a lot of panels. This is just equally spaced here, and it's just showing that the race is a really long race. A lot of dangers. It's actually showing that one of the racers that Han helped earlier is helping Han at this moment when his ship is about to break down. And it's like a speed situation. If you guys have seen the Speed, like Speed 1 and 2 with Keanu Reeves, you have the bus which can't go like below 55 miles per hour or something like that. In this section of the race, the ships can't go below a certain speed. So when Han's ship begins to flutter, the guy who was like sort of a rival earlier, but who Han helped, actually, you know, sends a grappling line to tow the Millennium Falcon into the next part of the race. So that's pretty cool. There's just a last bit of art I want to show you guys here is another Han likeness right here, which I feel like looks like Han, that he could be, you know, he's supposed to be in the desert or something, so this is his like dust gear. I really like the way that they that Mark Brooks drew the gloves that Han's been wearing the entire first 3 issues here. I won't give away what happens at the end of issue 3. If you want to see it, you can check out the Star Wars Han Solo series. Please go check out the comic that I'm working on. My friend Kevin and I work on it on Comic Book Creation Live. It's a different YouTube channel. We do a show once a week on Wednesdays where we have you guys give advice or give your comments, and a lot of times what people suggest actually makes it into a future issue. Stop by on Wednesday nights about 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Comic Book Creation Live, and then just subscribe over there as well. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you like my review of these Han Solo comics. I really like these. I'll probably end up getting issues like 4, 5, and 6. Now, I don't know how long these went. I don't know if this was like a mini-series. I think they did a mini-series of each character for a while back in the summer of 2016 or throughout the year 2016 when these comics are from. So there's probably like maybe 3 more issues or more if they went further. I know they linked up these with the Star Wars main comic book that was taking place in between episodes 4, 5, and 6. Or I think mostly in between episodes 4 and 5. I think they also explored in between episodes 5 and 6, which is also a really cool time period. Okay, I'm Space Windu. Thanks for checking out this video.